Hey team, so today I wanted to try something really fun and different and share it with you. And we're going to get vulnerable with the self-diss technique. I reminded myself the other day when I rewatched 8 Mile how Eminem put himself on that stage and just like dissed himself so much that his opponent couldn't do anything. So just to remind us of that, here's the scene. Now watch what he does here. Oh. You see what he's doing here? He's just like dissing himself, talking about the trailer and his friend and all that, right? So I'll leave it at that. I'll drop you guys a link below if you want to watch it. I just found it there. But I think at the core, right, that final battle in 8 Mile is one of the most iconic scenes in the movie. In it, Eminem's character, B-Rabbit, like cleverly self-disses by pointing out all of his vulnerabilities and insecurities before his opponent can actually use them against him. And this tactic disarms his opponent, who has nothing left to say in response at the end, and he just sort of sits there, right? So in that rap, B-Rabbit or Eminem addresses his flaws openly, like living in the trailer, having a friend who shot himself, and being a bum. And then he flicks the focus onto his opponent, exposing his privileged background, hypocrisy, ultimately winning the battle by, owning his own narrative. And this scene is a great example of how self-awareness and vulnerability can be powerful tools in disarming critics and taking control of one's story. It's like a really memorable portrayal of resilience and strategy in hip-hop culture. And one thing we're doing inside Modern Maker is trying to find elements that are outside of business and weave them into business, because there's so much out there that we can use in our copy, in our strategy. And I'm like overly exaggerating this today to show you how we can do it. So, and another technique that works really well is like repelling our opponent, right? Or our audience of spectators and attracting our audience of buyers. And another technique that comes in is like basically telling someone what your program, service, product is not for by simply saying, this is not for you if, right? But when we get vulnerable, I've had a client called Joe the other day who came up and he was like, writing to the soul basically on LinkedIn. It was just a simple text post where he got vulnerable and he was like, LinkedIn is all about these flashy techniques and everybody's winning and everyone's successful, right? And in doing that, you start to feel guilt, you start to self-compare, and comparison is a thief of joy, right? So, when you're vulnerable, not in a soppy way, but in a sort of reflective way where you look back, that level of authenticity oozes out of you, and then people buy the essence of who you are before buying what it is you do. So on that note, I want to have some more fun today. I'm hosting a workshop next week called The Client Whisperer, and I want to take Eminem's self-dissing strategy, and I've written out my own verse just for the fun of it, right? Because why not? So let's give this a go. Get in the mood, get in the zone. And we're going to write to our friend little Johnny. Let's talk about what I am and what I'm not. For starters, I'm not a soulless AI robot. I'm not a copywriter. I'm a power writer, see? I'll show you how to read minds, how to truly be in someone's head, their hopes, their fears, make them feel seen, make them feel near. Evidently not a rapper here, but let's go. Yeah, I know, LinkedIn's filled with coaches who boast flashy numbers, big launches. Hey man, look at my post. but I've been behind the screen. The world's a facade, those pockets ain't deep. It's all smoke and a nod. So if you're reading for something real, something true, a way to speak that connects them to you, that's what the Client Whisperer Workshop's all about. No frills, no hype, just what works, no doubt. Are you in? Are you in? Link to buy my shit. So you get the point. I hope you're still with me. I hope we've had some fun here. And in essence, okay, we don't need to do this in a less rappy manner, but maybe I'll give it a spin and try it out in a rappy way. And I've sort of like broken down how I would do this in a non-rappy manner by saying, you know, I'm not your typical business coach who's going to throw around tricks, hooks, viral formulas. I don't flex big wins or $1 million launches. I'm just a hippie in Cyprus hanging out with my 3 dogs and cats, you know, living in ease and flow and all of that. As I'm sat here, I've got Mr. Coconut right there. Just showing you truthfully that this is who I am, right? And then I'm going to teach you how to read people's minds, etc., and then just being my true, authentic self, you know. And then I'm saying there's plenty of coaches who will show you flashy numbers, pixel perfect lives, all that stuff that came from my client Joe. And if you're here, maybe you want to be a part of it. So if you're done with the hype, I invite you to join the Client Whisperer Workshop. We'll skip to the fluff and get to the heart of connecting with your audience in that way that just works. So I hope this sort of triggered some bits for you today. We can get vulnerable in a strategic way, but most of all, being open to learning from other industries instead of copying everybody's hooks and doing what works. Just being present and observing what else there is. So I want to leave you with that today. Power to you.